Hello, everybody. Welcome into the christo-mac-show. My name is Christo-Mac. It's been a minute since I've posted my last episode. You can find all these episodes on Spotify. I upload some of them to YouTube. If you are on YouTube or anywhere, please like and subscribe so you can get notified and comment if you have any comments. So this is getting ridiculous. Today is Wednesday, December 30th, 2020. And obviously, the election results are final. Joe Biden, in my opinion, has clearly won. And obviously, that's what this is about. It's ridiculous, right? These public officials, politicians that refuse to accept the outcome is just absurd. With the money, when you actually look at how much money they're spending, and you got the average human, the average American suffering, doesn't even know how they're going to pay, for their food. It's ridiculous. And you got these people filing lawsuit after lawsuit, which costs thousands and well over millions of dollars, all added up for over the 50-plus lawsuits. It's ridiculous, right? When you get the average family suffering. But that's what we're going to get into right now. So the total vote count it's not even really that close. That's the craziest part, right? I mean, Joe Biden received more than 81.2 million votes, and Donald Trump received 74.2 million votes. So we're talking over, 7 million vote differential. 5 points win for Joe Biden. So 5 percentage points, which, that's a lot. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. But Donald Trump obviously won the key states. But the point is, this isn't even close, really. Trump lost by more than 5%, 5 points, which in most elections, that's a landslide. The popular vote's usually pretty close. Not separated by 7 million votes, which is a lot. Okay, now, so that's first thing first. But what is ridiculous is the money. It's insane to think that whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, which most people are not, okay, the system and society America has presently is no doubt a two-party system, which is ridiculous because the average person isn't a full Republican or a full Democrat. But that's just the way they've made it. It's time for a third and fourth party, which it's set up where it's almost impossible the way it is now to have a third party, as you know, because the money, the Democrat and the Republican side, they have their back, they have the money, and if they back who they want. And if you're an independent or you're not who they want, they take all the money. So you can't really compete. It's crazy. But hopefully that will change. But regardless, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, especially if you're a Republican and you are for Trump, and let's say that you believe there's some voter fraud, which is amazing to think that there has still yet to be no evidence at all, right? But even if you believe that, give it up. It's over. Okay, Trump's gone. Biden will be confirmed on January 6th. And this is where it really gets me, because I'm more Republican than anything else. I believe most of the Republican policies, and I voted Trump. Okay, but this is more of a human rights issue with me right now. This is why I'm getting so frustrated. So The Hill has reported that Pence refused to sign on to plan to overturn election, lawyers say. So lawyers that are representing Representative Louie Gohmert, a Republican out of Texas, an elected official, and 11 GOP electors disclosed in a court filing yesterday, that Vice President Pence rejected their request to join their attempt to subvert the results of the presidential election. Gohmert and the electors filed suit against Pence, he's our vice president, on Monday in an attempt to argue that the vice president has sole authority to determine which presidential electors Congress will count when it certifies the results of the election. The far-fetched suit essentially asks the court to grant Pence the authority on January 6th to overrule the results in swing states such as Arizona, and Congress count only pro-Trump electors instead of ones that voted for President-elect Joe Biden. So just think about what they're so they spend all this money. Okay, they send us a measly $600 after keeping everybody closed, not being able to earn a living. They send out $600 checks, which we still have yet to receive, but supposedly they're on their way. But the craziest thing is, what the heck is $600 going to do for the average person? I mean, come on. It's going to help, for a day. It'll feed your family for a week, maybe. But that's about it. I mean, it's not gonna pay your rent. It's not gonna pay your mortgage for the past 9 months that you were unable to earn a living. And you got these people over here that refuse to accept the outcome because they're so corrupt. They're trying to subvert the will of the people. So every vote, 81 plus million for Biden, 74 plus million for Trump, that's what the people decide. So this representative, Louie Gohmert, and a bunch of other, electors from Arizona filed a suit to try to say that, on January 6th, when Mike Pence counts the electors, which have already been certified, this is more of just a tradition than anything. It's not like Mike Pence, the vice president, has sole authority to do anything. But that's what this suit is trying to argue. But that's what these people are worrying about. Rather than feeding families, rather than sending out more than a $600 stimulus every 10 months, they're spending their money and worrying about trying to steal the election with no evidence. So let's say that the election was stolen by the Democrats. Unfortunately, luckily, we live in America, and there has to be evidence for that, or else this would go crazy. And as you can see, there has not been evidence. But if you still believe that they stole the election, that's good. You can believe that. But until you have evidence to prove it, it's not your word, right? It's not what you believe. People believe in God. People believe in thousands of different religions. People believe in Mormonism, Catholic, Christian, whatever it is, right? People believe in a lot of things. But in something like this, based on your belief, if the election was stolen, there should be some type of evidence, and there isn't. Not of widespread election fraud that would and should overturn the election. But these representatives, these elected officials that are in office for us, they're supposed to do what the will of the people want. The will of the people voted for Joe Biden. And they're basically trying to argue that, we don't believe it, we don't like it, we think there's fraud. So we want Vice President Pence to be able to just not count the Joe Biden 81 million in just a few states. We want Trump. Okay, great. Still no evidence. So that can't happen. Obviously, you see why. But what's even worse is we have real problems. America is getting crushed. Is COVID an overreaction? Yeah. I mean, should everything be closed? No. If you're scared, don't go out to eat. But don't close these places for 10 months. And again, hey, Representative Gohmert in Texas. Buddy, look around you, man. People are suffering. Rather than spending millions of dollars to try to keep Trump in office, why don't you spend millions of dollars and give it to actual people in need? Like, I don't know, 80% of the American population. I mean, it's ridiculous. $600 stimulus check is what got panned out, but mostly they've been fighting amongst themselves and focused on this, spending for this garbage, election steal, which, again, regardless if it is or isn't, there needs to be evidence. You've been unable to get the evidence that's required in a court of law. So end it. Move on. And the will of the people, unfortunately, is Joe Biden. And you got to go with that. Like, who are you, Gohmert, or whatever how do you pronounce your name? Who do you think you are that you can just bypass the will of the people? Like, you don't even have a job if it wasn't for the people. You're there to represent my best interests, meaning I put you in Washington to bargain on my behalf. And you're not doing that, obviously. Instead, you're doing all this garbage that is going to get you nowhere and not going to help, and it's not helping anyone. Nobody. That's the problem I have, right? I'm a solution-oriented person, and this is not a solution. Now, let's say that somehow Trump stays in office. Let's just make believe. That's not a solution, because over 81 million people want Biden, and 74 million want Trump. So let's say they do that. 74 million people will be happy, let's say. But 81 million will not. But even worse than that, what the 74 million people that voted for Trump, me included, must realize is, if that were to happen, then all else goes out the window in the future. Because what can be done for you can be used against you. And that's what you got to remember, right? So everybody was happy when YouTube banned Alex Jones. Lots of people were happy, right? I don't like him. Yeah, silence him. But the problem is, what you didn't realize is, that means they can ban you and everyone else they want to silence. So what can be used for you can be used against you. So just remember that. So what's going on now? Let's say that a miracle happens and Trump stays in office. But now the precedent has been set. The precedent has been set. Which means now the Democrats can use that playbook. So every election, it's going to be like this going forward. And why vote at that point? Because clearly the voters' voices are not being fulfilled. And that's really the only thing I have to say, right? It's kind of like, end it. Biden's the president. Move on. Focus on solving people's problems. That's what you're elected for. Now do your job. And if you want to waste money on stupid lawsuits with no evidence, then at least match the cost and send it out to people in need. Period. And that's it. That's my rant for the day. Okay, if you have any comments, please, I'd love to hear them. Like, if you liked it and you're watching on YouTube, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, also subscribe, or wherever you listen. Thank you.